IBTS podcast, the nutrition episode. Today, my guest is Sam Peris. She's a holistic nutritionist and a healthy living advocate. Sam, thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
I am super stoked you're here. I wanted to do a nutrition episode talking about eating well, eating organic, eating good foods, and what better person than you to be here.
Thank you so much.
So, Sam, before we get into the holistic nutritionist part and the organic foods and all that healthy living stuff, let's talk a little bit about your past, because we were talking and you were saying you had that sort of commerce degree and then that type of, I guess it was an office type job. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about that. What was that lifestyle like for you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess I can start from being just part of this whole standard American lifestyle. Nutrition wasn't at all in my realm.
In your world.
It wasn't a part of my world yet.
Like most.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's changing, but yeah, like most.
Like most. So I was kind of just following the standard path. And, you go to university, you get a degree. If you don't know what you want to do, you go into business because you go into commerce, you become rich, you begin to be the CEO, whatever.
Yeah, it's that typical like Western style of life. That's how people kind of paint the picture of you go to school, you get the degree, you get the job, you have the family, you get the money. But,
yes, exactly. So I started there, and then I did that commerce degree, and I decided at the very end, working for a giant corporation, being a cog in the corporate world just didn't align with who I was. Mm-hmm. I had finished my degree. I had met my husband in the meantime, or, then boyfriend. And, he's a really passionate person and like really encouraged me to do something that I felt passionate about. And so fast forward, I guess, my sister also went into naturopathic medicine.
Oh, okay.
So she was the one who turned me on to this whole idea that...
Oh, a little family affair.
Exactly,
Nice.
that there was another way. And after university, went traveling for a long time, abused all the gluten and dairy and
Which
alcohol.
we'll talk about later, too. We're definitely going to talk some gluten.
Yeah, and so became really bloated, uncomfortable in my own skin, just didn't feel great anymore. Here she was, I kind of joked calling her like a witch doctor. And I was like, okay, witch doctor, fix me. And she got me onto this detox. And I eliminated all the common food allergens. Had never felt better in my life. So that's when I started to shift gears out of this kind of corporate Calgary environment, and I decided to go into holistic nutrition.
Wow. So that must have been a nice little bit of a wake-up call, kind of going, changing this. Did the fog kind of dissipate at the job too? Like, is that when you started realizing the job was affecting the way you felt as well? Did the job affect the way you felt? Or was it more so just the way you were eating? Or was it kind of a combination?
I guess it was a combination. It just wasn't fueling my soul. Like the food wasn't fueling me properly, and the jobs weren't fueling my soul. So I guess I just sought for a little bit something more. I cared about. As soon as I got into nutrition, like many people who get into nutrition, become very like passionate and
we do. And people tend to hate us.
Oh, totally. And I was one of those like shove it down your throat kind of people. Like, you need to know this. I didn't know this. You have to know this. And I'm going to change your world. And, I have since calmed down a little, found a little more balance. But definitely I kind of shifted, and that was... It's funny that there's a stigma
in that. I find there's a little bit of a stigma in eating healthy, and people almost kind of get mad at you because they don't want to hear it. Like they want to drink their Coca-Cola, they want to drink their Seagram's wild berry coolers, they want to drink their, all their sugary drinks and eat all their extremely processed foods. And I find that people, and I'm sure you find this too, is they get kind of angry when you just say, hey, you should eat some greens.
Oh yeah, totally. And
you get very defensive.
Yeah, and we can be a bit preachy, I guess, too. And,
sure.
So I can get the, the defensive part of it. I know. I really try not to. I really try to hone it in now.
Did you get any of those types at your job? Like when you were did you start before you left the office job? Were you starting to kind of, or like, did you have to, as your diet started shifting, was it shifting but you were still at your job, or did you just go like cold turkey, I'm out of here, I'm switching my life? How did
really started, I finished my degree and I went traveling. I traveled for nearly 2 years.
And that's when gluten traveling.
Yeah, well, it started, and then it kind of in the middle was when I did the detox, learned about the effect food can have on your body.
Of course.
And then while I was traveling, I really I brought a cookbook with me, and I really started to try and learn to get into healthy food. I was finding the tiny little health food stores in these random little towns.
Oh, that must have been really cool.
Seeking that stuff out. So it was while I was traveling largely. I didn't want to. I had done the, the party travel, the eat the junk food travel.
Oh, okay. This
didn't feel really good.
Right.
Then I started to kind of try and bring it in that way.
Yeah, of course. Which I mean, I think is a great thing. It's a nice way of shifting the classic. I'm going to go on a vacation, travel, and just eat the crap out of all the bad stuff. And you're saying like you went the secondary time and thought, okay, I'm going to get a little mindful with this, get in with the culture, and I think that's really cool. I want to talk a little bit about gluten-free living.
Let's do it.
Because, and again, we go back to the people like getting, defensive or upset. I'm not a gluten-free preacher per se, but I'm very, very similar to how you discovered feeling better. Was my doctor actually, whom I think is fantastic. He's a much more Eastern style Western doctor. He kind of marries the practices together.
You're lucky. I'm going to need his name.
He's incredible. He's in Toronto, and I'm very, very grateful. My wife actually found him, so I'd love to have him on the show. Actually, I'm going to try to coax him on, but Mark Linder is his name. But it was his idea for me to start trying the gluten-free living and like the non-nightshade living, and then the sort of reintroduction months later if I wanted to try different vegetables and things like that. But I want to talk gluten-free living. Why do you think people smack talk it so much? Or why do you think people get upset or angry about people being gluten-free?
Yeah, I know. I went through that transition too. Like everybody around you is sort of like, why are you doing this? And, are you sure?
Why are you trying to feel better?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think it's just a fad. I think people get frustrated with nutrition. They think, you go through these fads and the fads change and, nobody knows what to follow anymore because the science changes or whatever. But I think it also questions their lifestyle. Sure. It means 90% or more probably of processed foods have gluten in it. So you have to get rid of all the crap. Like you can't just grab something to pop in the microwave anymore. You have to be conscious about where your food is coming from, what you're buying, how to prepare it, all that stuff. So I think it really questions their lifestyle, and people aren't ready to make the big lifestyle change that is going gluten-free.
I think you hit a home run with that one, questioning the lifestyle, because it'll rock people, right?
It totally rocks people. It rocked my world.
Yeah.
Like I was a 3 meal a day gluten eater. I was like a peanut butter jam-aholic, Cheerios, Alpha-Getty, you name it.
That needs to be a shirt, peanut butter jam-aholic.
Yeah, that was my jam, really. So it was a huge shift, and it was a huge shift for everyone around me. I definitely caught a lot of flack for it.
I still catch flack.
Oh, me too. And it's been over a decade, and it's like
you see the memes too, like the hey gluties, shut up, like all these little things. But it's a bummer because if those people understood how people like us feel when we're not eating gluten, I feel like a different person. My moods are completely changed. I feel happier, healthier. I sleep better. My face isn't bloated up 15 pounds.
Skin's better. Digestion's better.
Yes.
Bloating's gone. I know. It's all the things. If you're somebody like me and you who have actually been, the gluten eaters who go to a gluten-free and notice that huge shift, this is why we become these crazy advocates. Because we're like, you have no idea.
Yeah, you got to feel this way too.
I never knew what good was. Now I know what good feels like. And good is so good, you got to be good. And so, it's this thing.
I still try here and there. I'll slide it in, in a dinner convo or like a barbecue convo, or someone will be like, man, you're eating that burger with just lettuce wrap? And I'm like, yeah, you should try it. But
give it a go. I'm doing this gluten-free thing.
So how long do you think you've been gluten-free for?
Definitely at least a decade.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've been about 5 or 6 years, not a decade yet, but that's cool. That's empowering, man. Screw wheat, screw that shit.
No, I'm never going back. Yeah. Definitely. Because you have accidental, you're food at a restaurant and you didn't think I had gluten, and then all of a sudden you're like, I will go from flat-ish stomach to 5 months pregnant.
Same.
Immediately. Yeah, you get pregnant too.
So not as bad as some people I do know, but no, I noticed it too. I've always been the body type, because I know there are body types, chemistry types that are like I've got some friends who are male models and they're born with a six-pack, and it's my body type isn't maybe necessarily that type. You got to kind of work at it, but as soon as I have any type of gluten, if I even, or if I didn't know and I did it, I'll bloat right out, man. It's just what the hell? What's going on?
Yeah, totally. And there are some people like you and I who feel it immediately, and there's some people who don't. Right? And I would say I didn't know forever. And it's gradual buildup too. You can have those immediate reactions, but you can also have those long-term low-grade reactions, which is going to be chronic inflammation and all kinds of trouble. But people think, well, when I eat gluten, it doesn't hurt me. But you don't know. You won't know until you really eliminate it for a good month to 6 weeks. Then you try it again. And it's not is it that immediately, but is it that within the next few days? Is there a difference? Is there, some level of discomfort? And it doesn't have to be digestive. Gluten stuff can show up anywhere in the body. And
it's funny. I never actually, other than the face bloating, that you mentioned it, it could be joint related, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it could be anything. Brain fog too is a big one. If your brain's not functioning great.
Brain fog is a biggie I'm finding with Western food culture.
Definitely.
Like I'm finding when I shifted, especially the gluten-free diet and now eating, I try to eat as ketogenic, and I try to stay on keto for a few months and sometimes get off for, a month or a few weeks. I find too when I eat keto, like it's another curtain, another like shroud gone. And I'm just like, I can see better, feel better, sleep better. It's a very interesting diet, how nutrition is, it's something that obviously like, and I'm so happy that my doctor, I get to have these conversations with him and he's implementing it in his practice. And I feel that's great because I feel like doctors don't, for the most part, do that,
No, definitely not. I think, they weren't necessarily trained for it either.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
You can't knock them for it. They're very much trained for like preventing us from these infectious diseases and healing us from car crashes and things like that. It's trauma or infection. But chronic, long-term chronic, that's when you want to definitely go see somebody who's been trained in natural health. Like it's really important to look at the whole body as, one system. It's not like, if you have a problem with your skin, you just see a dermatologist. Like you can heal skin stuff from the inside out too. So
I feel like it's time to have that conversation a little more, right? Like
definitely.
People need to they need to take nutrition more seriously. I think everyone out there should. And so does Sam.
I certainly do.
That's why we're doing the IBTS nutrition episode for all y'all listeners out there.
I'm talking all kinds of smack about nutrition.
Talking smack on gluten for sure.
Yeah.
Because gluten can just fuck right off.
Sure can.
All right, I have a question for you about because I find this is something can hit people when they've decided to make a shift or they decided to take a dietary change in their life. You walk into a food store, a health food store, maybe a supplement type vitamin store, and there are so many things.
Yes.
Do you believe in any types of supplements, or are you just food? Or do you believe in any?
I believe in food first, supplements second,
Okay.
and I'm definitely open to all of it.
Right.
I, have a very full supplement cupboard, and I have kind of the in-between sort of superfood type supplements.
Okay.
Things that, would be considered food really, but they're not common everyday foods like broccoli and stuff like that. So we can talk about a few of those.
Yeah, sure. Let's go for it. I mean, what I was going to ask you is just say someone getting into it, is there like maybe, 2 or 3 supplements or superfoods that you would recommend adding into or getting into their diet?
Absolutely, yeah. To narrow it down to 2 or 3 is tough, but I will do my best.
Or it's more. We have time. You can say more.
Okay. So we'll talk about one that I love, and I've used this for a lot of many, many years, and it's a blue-green algae called spirulina. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Spirulina,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So algae, spirulina is one of the oldest foods on the planet. People have been using it actually for thousands of years. It's about 60% protein by weight, so it's one of the highest protein food sources. Also, like one of the highest antioxidant, one of the highest nutrient containing foods in the planet. I heard a recent study about them giving it to babies who weren't thriving on formulas or breast milk or anything like spirulina, or if they couldn't have breast milk, I guess it was. It's actually the closest food to breast milk, which was really, really interesting.
Yeah.
So that makes me love it even more because breast milk's amazing. Obviously.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, that's a really fantastic one. Really good. So for someone athletic like yourself, really good pre-workout too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like
I'm hopping on that wagon.
You know how green, it's so dark green,
right?
And that's like harnessed sun energy. You're going to get tons of B vitamins and stuff out of there as well.
I need it for all that Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I've been getting, I call it pancake guard lately, where the big guys just squash me. But maybe the spirulina will help me.
The spirulina is going to, make you so much tougher.
So much tougher. Nice. Yeah. We'll see
it's also
about
got
that,
the
guys.
good fats in it too. So like even omega-3 fats and things like that. So,
wonderful.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Another one would be chaga mushroom. Have you heard of that one?
Oh, vaguely. Yes.
Okay. So chaga is like the king of medicinal mushrooms.
Is this do they make coffee out of the chaga
yes,
mushroom?
So this is one of the ways I use it every day. So you can get chaga in many different ways. You can get it so they take a big mushroom and cut it into all sorts of little chunks. You can get little chunks or you can get bigger chunks. And those you would basically brew like a tea. You could either steep it or simmer it, even better, for like 20 minutes up to like hours, to be honest. And you can take those bits and then freeze them or keep them on your counter or whatever in a pot on the stove and use it multiple times before that. You'll notice the color starts like to get weaker. So you want that dark brown. Anyway, so chaga is like a really great immune modulator. So it's good for underactive immune systems, but also overactive immune systems. So anybody with autoimmune, you can actually balance your immune system with chaga. Good for mood, good for stress, another like crazy antioxidant food. So what we do in our house is we just keep a pot on the stove all the time, basically. Whoever's up first starts brewing the chaga, and we make our coffee with chaga tea instead of water.
I think that's so cool. It reminds me of my mother-in-law is Italian, straight up Italian. She immigrated, and they used to do things like they would always have things on the stove that would stay there for days. Yeah. So that's cool. Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a great one.
And what's do you have any others like?
Yeah.
Let's go.
I have more.
Yeah, do it.
Collagen powder.
Yes.
I really
Which
love
I've also heard you
powder.
don't want to overdo the collagen though, because I heard it can cause some serious problems in the bathroom department. So
well, yeah.
such as healthy eating, right?
There's always a happy medium.
Yeah, sure.
Collagen I love because it dissolves in anything.
Okay.
It's another thing you throw in your, bulletproof style coffee, I guess. Right. So it will dissolve into coffee or a smoothie or anything really, and it's virtually flavorless and really, really high source of protein. Which can
help. The flavorless thing can help sometimes, right? Because some of these sometimes supplements can be a little bit wild with the flavors.
A little bit too strong,
Too strong,
yeah, or so sweet or anything. It just kind of a neutral, so you can actually taste the rest of the stuff. Really good for hair, skin, nails, joints, gut health. So this a big one is like, anybody with food allergies or gluten sensitivities has a leaky gut or these, little holes in their intestines. So collagen's really great gut healer.
Oh, gut healer. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could. Yeah, most of us could probably use some of that. All that. I talk about the baby boomer diet. Grew up in the no name brand, yellow label, processed everything, and it's. I mean, my lifestyle of being in a rock band and drinking beer and eating pizza didn't help with it either. But no. I had a bad startup, and then a bad 20s. So
we all.
So,
but you know what? You can. That's like the thing. Kids who aren't eating healthy, I'm like, oh man, you should have seen me. That can turn around. So
yeah,
that's the thing. Is it's never too late.
Oh, see, I like to hear that. It's never too late. It does feel. It makes me feel a little happier for myself and for people out there that are struggling. That knowing that nutrition is like it should be a staple, and that it can change, it can help.
Absolutely. Actually, you being ketogenic, you'd like this new documentary on Netflix called The Magic Pill.
Love it. I already watched it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Absolutely
These are some of the people in there are older, and they have changed to ketogenic diets and seeing huge benefits in their health and diabetes and
autistic kids.
Oh, yeah.
That story was huge.
Huge. And that's the thing. In kids, we think, we can never change our kid's diet. And that kid refused it for a day, maybe 2. And then they started eating and they couldn't get enough. It was like, give me the fats. I need the fats.
And how about, not only did she refuse it, she was repulsed by it.
Yeah.
She didn't even want to touch it. She's like, absolutely no, get it away from me. No, absolutely. The world was coming to an end.
Definitely.
It was, the apocalypse was near, and Hello Kitty wasn't on TV, or this is even a show, I don't know. Like this poor kid. And then, 48 hours later, all of a sudden it's, give me the good fats, give me the good food, give me the greens, and then seeing her progress.
I know.
Even her communication progress, like her speech, like that hit me.
Me too.
Hit me in the heart.
Yeah.
The magic pill.
The magic pill, it was great.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it was really good.
Do you have any other supplements on top of those 3 you talked about?
I'll do one more. One more, because we're talking about fats and keto and the whole thing. I'm a really big fan of bulletproof right now. Nice. And so I really like the brain octane oil. I think that's a really good one. Because anytime you are even eating, higher carb foods or anything, you can add some good fats to it like that. And it will help kind of give your brain still those ketones. This is fat that, you burn right away. You don't store as fat.
Right.
So it'll help levelize blood sugar and stuff like that too, if you are eating carbohydrate.
Nice. And I guess I take an MCT. Is that like a medium chain triglyceride? Or?
Yeah. So,
I just want to say that to be cool, by the way.
Yeah, you're cool. So brain octane is kind of like next level.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he's really big on this oil. And some of the MCT oils are either made from palm oil or they're processed with hexane solvents, which can be not as good.
Okay.
And I'm an avid listener to Bulletproof Radio and really love his books and the whole thing. And, I
grass-fed butter.
Grass-fed everything.
Grass-fed everything, yeah. We've been doing that. We found a farm, does grass-fed beef and everything. And
yes.
Man, ground grass-fed beef, what a difference.
Oh, it tastes amazing.
Everything grass-fed is, you
yeah.
can actually, and the color of the butter, like, people don't even realize it's like, there's like, you know, regular butter. And then you go and you see like a Kerrygold, and it's like, you see the color difference.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the difference of free-range eggs and,
exactly.
regular eggs and the shell strength and,
Yeah, basically, if you want this stuff, you're going straight to the farm.
Yeah.
You know, ideally. I mean, there are great companies out there for sure.
And it's getting a little better, right?
Way better, way better.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the meats and stuff, you want to kind of go talk to your local farmers.
Nice.
You know?
Let's talk a little bit about Sammy and Graeme.
Oh, yes. Okay, so Sammy and Graeme's is my new baby.
Nice.
It's a business I started with my mother-in-law, so she's Graeme to my kids. And it's an organic food delivery system. So,
cool.
Organic prepared meals. We're kind of catering to everybody right now. We're trying to do at least one grain-free option a week, at least one vegetarian or vegan option a week, and then we do some snacks on top of that. Everything's gluten and dairy-free, with the exception of sometimes like a goat or sheep cheese, but that's optional.
Hey, I'll tell you, I'm lactose. I have been for a long time, and I do goat milk, and it's totally fine with me.
A lot more easily tolerated.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that's awesome. So, and are you guys, is this potentially a GTA thing? Or is this
right now it's Burlington, Oakville, and Waterdown. Okay. Hopefully we'll grow. My kids are going into full-time school next year, which I'm life-changing for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm hoping to expand it in the near future. Yeah.
How many kids do you have?
2.
Look at that.
Yeah. 2.
Mom of 2. Last name is Peris. Holistic Nutrition, wants to eat well, wants to promote it and tell people to do those things. I love it.
It's my purpose, for sure.
Yeah, did you feel that way with the old job, and then all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, you get me fired up about nutrition, and I can't shut up, basically. You know, I could be just like in the corner, you know, listening to everybody else have a conversation. All of a sudden somebody talks to me about nutrition, and I'm like, bam, 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 bam. I'm like, okay. You know, maybe that was too much. But yeah, you can tell when somebody's passionate about something.
Yeah, it's true.
This is definitely where I'm meant to be.
Amazing. And I mean, you got kids. You want to raise healthy kids. You want to pull them away from the yellow label, the yellow no-name label, get it away from that. And, you know, so when they grow, they don't have stomach issues and all these awesome problems that I've been dealing with as a baby boomer's child. But that's okay. My parents didn't know. They tried.
That's the thing. Everybody's doing the best they can with the knowledge they have at the time. And this is never like meant to be guilt-inducing or anything like that. But, you know, as you learn more, then, you know, make the changes. And
I want people to understand that out there, that when we talk about gluten-free and we talk about healthy food choices, we're not trying to hurt your feelings and make fun of you. No. We're just literally,
we're right and you're wrong.
Exactly. And hey, you know, I might wake up in a year and they go, ketogenic.
Yes.
Look out. It might not blah, blah, blah. So, but I don't know. I feel better. I know that I feel better on it, so I'm enjoying it. But.
Yeah. And then the one thing with keto, and this is something I've learned from Dave Asprey too, is you want to cycle. You want to cycle in and out a little bit.
Yes.
You want to make sure you are getting some good healthy carbs to feed your gut bacteria too, right? The one of the hugest issues right now going on is this imbalance in our microbiome, right? We're getting more bad bacteria than good bacteria. And so trying to balance all that out. And yeah, going keto amazing is great, but then you want to make sure you're getting some of those good carbs every once in a while, and then you can pour some good fats on top of that too.
I was reading, like, they say mild state of ketosis, and then like you said, it might be cycling in and out. Yeah. Well, okay, I'm gonna do, to wrap up our episode, I do a little segment called The Shit I'm Into. Yeah. Sam. So I gotta reach down and grab a book. This is the shit I'm into, called The Everyday Ketogenic Kitchen by Carolyn Ketchum.
Awesome.
If it's like Ketchum or Ketchum. It's like ketchup or catsup. Since going keto, one thing I noticed as most people, and I mean eating better anyway, is you shop more, you buy more like whole foods and nutrient-rich foods and not processed foods. The cool thing about this book is they have so many fantastic recipes on how to never get bored and never get bland keto foods. And anyway, this is the shit I'm into right now as far as, like, you know, staying in keto and then, like we said, cycling. I know I'm really enjoying it. And, you know, I recommend it for people who are considering doing the keto world. There you go. I'm showing it to camera right now for listeners only. But, yeah, The Everyday Ketogenic Kitchen, Carolyn Ketchum. Check it out.
Awesome. That's one I don't have yet, so I'm going to have to check that one out.
Yeah, Sam. What's the shit you're into?
Okay, well, just because you brought up a book, I'm going to go to a book too.
Absolutely,
I am devouring Dave Asprey's Headstrong right now, and I'm really interested in this whole idea of hacking your brain and hacking your mitochondria to get your body to work more efficiently. So he wants to live to be 180. This is his whole thing, is longevity and aging backwards. And so that, as we age, our brains don't have to decline. They can actually get better. And so I'm really into that. I want to age backwards.
That's cool.
I want to be, around for my grandkids and maybe great grandkids, but I want to have, sound mind. I want to continue to learn more and get stronger. So
I think it's fantastic. I come up from a family, a line of Alzheimer's, and like I get a little worried that my brain's going to get melted sometimes.
Well, I think you're on the right path here. Keto is one of the best things you can do for your brain. So.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, totally. So, it sounds like you made some good changes here to
I'm trying
prevent the brain melting.
All the martial arts might not be good for the brain, but it's okay. We just wrestle.
Well, staying active is,
sure,
but
right?
not too many head blows, and if you are, make sure you're getting all those good fats.
And get all the good fats to pad it, pad it in there. Awesome, Sam. Well, thanks so much. Let's plug. You got any socials you want to plug?
Yeah, definitely. So my website's not up yet. It's been a slow progression there.
Hey,
but
a mom of 2 and happily married, and this nutrition thing, it's not just a walk in the park. This is a thing. It takes time.
It does take time. So definitely Instagram, I'm on as Sam Peris Nutrition and Sammy and Graeme. And Facebook as well, Sammy and Graeme and Sam Peris Nutrition.
And that's Peris, Peris, for the listeners out there, which is still the coolest name ever, by the way. The City of Love, by the way. Sam Peris, thanks so much. Holistic Nutrition. Thank you so much for doing the nutrition episode. First nutrition episode.
I am honored to be your first health nutrition expert on here. So
we'll have to have you back on then.
I'm coming back.
Oh, wicked. Okay. Next time we'll talk less smack on gluten.
More smack on other things.
Yeah, more smack on other bad stuff. So Sam, thanks so much.
Thank you, Ian.
Awesome.
Blackwood talks